everyone. Welcome back. Oh my God. I'm actually keeping up with this consistency thing a little bit. If you didn't get the chance to listen to my last episode, that was about the types of imposter syndrome. I highly recommend it. It is a longer one, but it is chock full of information. Especially if you've always kind of been like, imposter syndrome has been like this weird, vague term that everyone keeps saying, and you're like, what the fuck? Um, or if you've really liked it, or resonated with it, but you've always kind of wanted to go a little deeper into it. So that was a really good episode. I really enjoyed recording that one. Um, I am also posting these to YouTube now as well, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm slowly getting used to like looking at the camera. So I'm doing my best, but because I am recording a podcast, I keep like looking at my microphone like I'm talking to it for some reason. If you're listening to the podcast and you're hearing me say this, it does kind of look strange. So go to the YouTube channel and find out. Um, anyway, today I figured we would talk. It's not going to be as long as the last one, I promise. Or at least I say I promise, but um, I did want to talk a little bit about money mindset. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I made the month of March my money mindset month. And I want to talk about my experience with my money mindset month. What did I do? What happened? All those little things. I have not structured this at all. I have zero clue what I'm really going to talk about going into this. So let's just see how it plays out. You know, I don't edit these things. Come on, guys. I'm too lazy for that. Um, but yeah, so I did kind of want to talk a little bit about that because for me, even as a mindset coach, money mindset was always one of the things I struggled the most with. And I didn't really realize it until probably February, um, when it occurred to me that I was like, oh, my money mindset really sucks. And when I say money mindset, I'm talking about the way I view and think of money. Um, and unfortunately, that has been, I realized, affecting me my entire life. So I'm not going to go into the details about all of that past stuff because a lot of that I'm still trying to contextualize and like figure it out. And some of it's kind of sensitive. I will get to that. I promise. I'm honest. If people want to talk about it in DMs, happy to do that. Um, but I did find that I had kind of this fear of money, which a lot of us do, right? But naturally, like I thankfully grew up in a good household. We were stable, all of that. But I still constantly had this fear of money, this fear of keeping money. I felt like I should be giving it away to people. I had this fear of spending too much money, but I would still spend it because like I wanted to this like fix and to feel like I was stable, you know? And naturally, this all came about in many ways. It manifested itself as me having savings, and I would get savings, and I even managed to save up over $10,000 at one point and lost it all. Not lost, but just didn't know what to do with it. So I just spent it. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. It was almost kind of weird having that money. I had zero idea. I mean, economics have always kind of been one of those things where like economics has been not easy for me, no matter how smart I thought I was. That part of my life, anything related to money and finances, not me. And because I kind of had that attitude towards it, naturally, I never really learned and, lost some money, lots of money. Um, no gambling, none of that. But like, it just this general attitude towards money. And obviously, this has affected me up until this point. And of course, I keep getting stuck in these situations where I'm just constantly afraid, am I going to have enough money to be able to live, to buy food, to, afford an apartment, to whatever that is. I did live in LA and had to support myself and was in many situations where I was working several different things to try and make ends meet and still wasn't managing my money the best. And I naturally continued to lose money. And then COVID hit, all of this stuff just snowballing. And now, unfortunately, I would say unfortunately, fortunately, entrepreneurship has kind of thrown all of that in my face and forced me to confront my fears and beliefs around money. So I came to realize this when I was doing a retreat for my mastermind. And if, by the way, if you guys can relate to any of this, please let me know. I would love to hear your money stories and what your beliefs and fears are around money. Because I'm going to be throwing some prompts and some reflections I did. Um, and if you connect to them or if like you're answering them and you're coming to your own realizations, I would love to hear what those are. Um, but yeah, so like back in February, this, a couple months ago, there was a retreat for the mastermind I was in, and we had someone come in. She was a mindset coach, um, and she had us kind of talk about our money struggles, our money beliefs. She had us identify what our beliefs around money were. We did this kind of meditation thing. We had to, well, not had to, but we were allowed to share some of the thoughts that were coming up for us. And in doing so, I realized that the one of the beliefs, main beliefs I had around money, and I'm sure some of you guys can probably relate, is that money is hard. Money is hard to get. Money is hard to manage. I just convinced myself that I was, and this comes back if you watch if you listen to the imposter syndrome episode, it comes back to that the natural genius type, where as soon as I run into something I'm not good at, I kind of back off from it and I'm like, well, not gonna mess with that. And that money was one of those things. Economics, all of that was one of those things where as soon as I attempted to manage it and like do my economics class and all that stuff, I immediately realized I sucked at it. And so I avoided it, which is something you shouldn't do, by the way. So if you're pretty young, if you're in your early 20s and you're learning that, please do not avoid money. Don't avoid dealing with it, because that just makes it worse. Can say from experience. um so so I realized, again, the belief was that I was not good at money. I was not good at managing it. It was hard to get. Therefore, I kind of just avoided all those conversations. I hate taxes. I've been screwed over by that because I kept making mistakes. Basically, because of all of that, it again got into my head even more that like I suck at money. And I know it's like money's not even a thing. Money's not even a verb. But for some reason in my head, it's like I just suck at money. That was the belief. And again, because of that, I would kind of avoid having to deal with it. I hated looking at numbers. I didn't know how to budget. And because I was so bad at it, that I just kind of avoided doing it. It just stressed me out all the time. It was so overwhelming. So, that said, um, after that retreat, I kind of got to thinking, and I was trying to think, because I had set a goal for the end of March. I had wanted to hit that elusive 5K month that everyone talks about. And the reason why everyone talks about it, by the way, is because if we're talking like standard of living, being able to live off of your self-employed income, especially in the US with the taxes, 5K is kind of a golden standard. More than that, obviously, is ideal, but I find I can live off of around 2K that I'm getting personally. So with a 5K income coming in for your business, you can have the 2K for you and like the 2K or something for your taxes and like another 1K or something for your business expenses. It kind of works out in that way where it's like you can afford to live essentially. In case you're wondering where that like bar came from, that's where it came from. At least that's where it came from to me. That's what I understand from it. So I wanted to hit that elusive 5K, and I had like this plan to do it. I was going to get a certain number of yeah, I was going to get a certain number of people in my program. In my mastermind, I was going to get a certain number of people in my other group program that I had with my other friend called Conquer Client Connections. I had like this whole plan. I calculated it out. I was like, yes, this is how I'm going to get to 5K. But I was finding as I was going along that I realized that these number goals weren't working for me, specifically income goals. I was like, every time I tried to set this income goal, it like never seemed to work. And I kind of always chalked it up. I'm like, okay, it's because I'm being a little desperate. It's the energy, which isn't false. Um, but by the end of February, as I'm like coming up, I was in the middle of my mastermind launch. Things were a little rougher than I was hoping they would be, and I was starting to panic a little bit. um, and I had decided to, well, after the retreat that we did with my mastermind, the person who came in, the mindset coach, she happened to be available for a one-on-one, and it was at that moment I was thinking about it, and I had scheduled a one-on-one call with her, um, to kind of just talk specifically about money mindset, which we ended up talking about a lot of other things, but I wanted to talk about money mindset. And I realized, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do? I'm going to change my Q1 goal, my goal for the end of March, and I'm going to make it that I want to be happy with whatever I am earning by the end of March. whatever that was, it didn't matter what that number was. The idea was I wanted to aim to be content with it. Um, so I had to then think about, how would I do that? How do you aim to be content with something? And I realized, okay, in order to do that, I just have to work on my beliefs around money. I have to address my money fears. I have to face them head on. I have to work on those beliefs. I have to do the journaling. I basically just have to put in that money mindset work. So I decided at that point, March is going to be my money mindset month. I was like, okay, I'm not going to set any goals for, even in my the the group program I was launching with my friend, Conquer Client Connections, or Mini Mind technically it is. Um, I kind of decided that it I decided that I wasn't going to aim for a certain money amount, certain amount of people, none of that. I'm just going to work on money mindset. Um, and that was just because I'm like, look, these numbers weren't working for me. Setting the number goals weren't working. There's something else blocking me. I have to work on the thing that's blocking me if I want any of those number goals to ever be a thing. And also I found that because I was setting these number goals, I was trying so hard to control outcomes that it was stressing me out. And you can't control outcomes. No matter what you do, you can't actually control what other people do. You can't, control people to sign up for it with you, for example. You can encourage them, but you can't control any of it. Um, and because of that, that was starting to my controlling brain. It was starting to kind of, make me anxious. So money mindset month. That's how that all came to pass. And it was a really, really good thought to make. So I was like, okay, this is goal. I knew it was going to help. I was like, if I work on this coming month, then um I'm going to be able to move forward and set these goals with the right mindset instead of with this desperate mindset. So, just for sake of transparency, in both January and February, I had earned in about $1,100. And that's obviously not including money that would be coming in the future. That was just for, cash that came in for those months. So not a ton, but it was starting to get there. It was starting to get there. What was freaking me out, by the way, wasn't so much the fact that I wasn't proud of myself for earning that much, because yeah, I did earn that much. Wow, I've actually, built a business where I'm having consistent income. Great. But I was freaking out because I had expenses to pay and that money would not cover them. And also, there were taxes coming up, and I just did not have the opportunity to set tax money aside from anything I earned, simply because I had to pay bills. At least in my mind, that's how it was working. That was the logic. Um, so of course I was kind of freaking out about it. Anyway, money mindset month was coming, right? Okay, so and I knew, of like, I need to work on this because I really, really wanted to be able to earn more. And if I wasn't able to accept that I could earn more, if I wasn't able to change this belief around money, I knew it wasn't going to change. um so obviously the first thing I did is I had that one-on-one. I scheduled that one-on-one. It was basically like one of the first days of March. I think it was March 1st actually. That one-on-one with that mindset coach who would kind of help me talk through some things and maybe give me some strategies moving forward. The other thing I did, and I actually scheduled this previously and it turned out to work really, really well, is I ended up investing um, in someone who could do my taxes. But not only that, she was also going to do my taxes for the next year, which was a huge load off my shoulders. Again, things knowing that me and money and taxes especially did not mesh. Knowing someone was there to help me through it, super helpful for me. Um, and she was also going to help me do what we call money mapping. She was going to help me kind of create these KPIs, key performance indicators. I think it's what it is. Honestly, sometimes I forget. She was going to kind of help me figure out how I could manage my money, how could I hit these income goals, strategize for every quarter, that sort of thing. Just very like things that I never focused on and didn't want to focus on and knew I was bad at, quote unquote. Um, so I was getting someone to help me, and no, it was not cheap. It is not cheap. I'm going to be paying it off for another year. But um, I looked at it and I'm like, I know I need this, because if I get this and I hit the goals I want to be hitting, I will be able to pay it off no problem. That was my mind. It was like, this is going to help me so I can get more money in so I have a better money mindset so that I'll be able to pay it off and it'll all be worth it. That was my mind going into it. I already knew going into that call with her that I was going to be investing in her in some way because I was like, there's no way I can do this by myself. I knew that going in. Thankfully, I have a pretty good investing mindset when it comes to that sort of thing. So that helped me out there. If you're more of the kind of independent person, you might struggle with that. Um, but I highly recommend it. It does take a huge weight off your shoulder. It might add a slight other pressure in other ways, but it takes a huge weight off your shoulder in another way. So you kind of have to kind of balance that, which one's more worth it. Um, so yeah, again, I invested in that. So that was going to help with my money mindset because it was going to help me understand money better and understand where it was going, where it was coming from, how I could structure my business better so that I was earning what I needed to be earning, how I could be pricing things, like all this other stuff that I knew was totally needed. And of course, handling taxes, which is like, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I know nothing. Um, and I've already had like a call with her as well, handle like dealing with some tax training stuff, which was super helpful. So already worth it in just in that regard. So beyond that, what else did I do for money mindset? Right, for my money mindset month, MMM. Um, so I I took these I got a money gun, let's start there. Which was technically something I did in February. I kind of started my money mindset month a little early. I got this money gun. I didn't do that purposely for money mindset month. It was just one of those things that I was like, I want one of this. Even if it's just like a fake, like convincing myself that I have these $100 bills flying around me, even though they're not real. At least it would kind of help, right? So I use that in a reel. And I plan to use it in others. And honestly, don't regret that purchase. It seems dumb, but it was one of those things I looked at and I was like, yeah, no, this is needed. This was needed. And what I did actually was I took some of those fake $100 bills and now I've posted them in various places around my room. It's on my mirror. You can, if you're watching the YouTube video, I'm kind of pointing at it right now. It's very small right there. There's one right in front of me I'm looking at. There's one above my bed. There's one in my bathroom. I've just kind of taped them in places that I constantly look at so that it always reminds me like money, abundance. It's just showing me, even if it's fake, it's just showing me like abundance, money is available, is there. Um, and it was kind of like this dumb little thing, but I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna try it as like a manifestation tactic, because just affirmations weren't doing it for me. I needed to also the money. Something else I did was more affirmations actually. So one of the affirmations I have written in front of me is I am worthy even if I'm not doing. And that was an important thing that I've figured out through my conversation with that mindset coach I talked about after that one-on-one, where we kind of discovered that part of my belief of money being hard was that you had to work hard for every dollar. And if you've grown up in certain households, you might have also run into that belief as well, where it's like every dollar you get, you have to work your ass off for. And therefore money is difficult when it really doesn't have to be. You just have to you have to open your mind to the opportunity. So this is where things can seem woo woo, but it's not as woo woo as you think, right? Also, I'm realizing this is probably going to be a lot longer than I expected. Sorry, guys. um, but yeah, like the woo woo part is everyone thinks, okay, manifestation. If you just like say affirmations, money will come to you. Um, and yes, that is a thing, but the logic behind it, I want to explain the logic behind it because, obviously there's a part of me that needs a logical explanation for these things. And maybe there's some of you who also need a little bit of that too. So I'm just going to put that out there. The logic behind it is that in doing these affirmations, what ends up happening is you're opening your mind to more opportunity. So what ends up happening again is you're seeing more opportunities to, for example, earn money. So if you're trying to manifest money and you say these affirmations, the belief is helping you not put your blinders up. It's helping you release those blinders. Therefore, you see other opportunities. Therefore, you take hold of them. Therefore, you get more money. That's the logic behind it. If you want to know the non woo woo version of it. Because otherwise, if you're not doing that, if you're not manifesting and you're keeping your mind closed, your blinders are up and you don't see the potential opportunities, or you see them and you turn them away because you don't think they fit with your narrow worldview. That's what these manifestations are supposed to do. And logically, it makes sense because the more you're able to see opportunities around you, the more you're able to take advantage of them, the more things you're going to be able to manifest for yourself, the more abundance you'll be able to have. um, so that was something that I had to, that's why I wrote this manifestation down. I am worthy even if I'm not doing, because it allowed me to be like, okay, I don't have to work my ass off for every dollar. I'm still working on this, by the way. Remember, the month of March is just over. um, where like even if I'm not doing something wholly productive, I'm still worthy of the money that could be coming to me. Um, because it's definitely a thought. Like sometimes if you feel like, maybe someone comes to you when you're not working as hard, or someone just, you're just attract someone, you wonder, well, why did they come to me? I must have just gotten lucky, right? That's usually the thought you get. It's like, wow, I got so lucky. It's not luck. You did something that brought that person to you, whether it's just putting yourself out there, even if it was just one post, even if it was your website, if it was anything, you did something that brought that person to you. But you didn't have to like continue to like work your butt off just to get them, right? So you are worthy even if you're not doing. And that was something I had to put down to kind of remind myself, like, it's okay to take a break, to be unproductive every so often. Like, there's a good balance between the two. Okay, money mindset month. What else did I do? And I'm going to be getting to the results soon because this is actually really important because there were results from this and it's kind of cool. What else did I do for Money Mindset Month? Okay, well, I posted a lot about money mindset. I talked a lot about how I was doing this month, and kind of what I was learning from it, what the results I was getting. I was kind of holding myself accountable and showing people that I was doing this because as a mindset coach, I wanted to be very transparent with my journey and also transparent with other people who might be struggling with the same thing. So I did that. What else did I do for money? I did a lot of things. Oh, that's right. I created this like spreadsheet that shows really clearly my income. And it was a very clear indication of like everything I was earning from who, how much I would be earning in future months. So that kind of reminds me to look forward because frankly, anything you do this month should be for the next month or the next months, next quarter. That's what I learned from other business people who are big in business, just in general. That's a CEO way of thinking about things. And it took me a while to catch on to that. But this month I finally did. I was like, oh, having the sheet, I can see the money I'm going to be earning next month, the month after, the month after. And that's what I need to be focusing on because any money and client, anything you're doing now is more likely to have long term effects than short term effects. And if you're just going short term, then you're always going to be living month to month. Versus if you're looking forward, then you're going to be living for, you're going to be building up income for the future, which is important long term over instant gratification, right? So I created the spreadsheet that was able, and it was kind of based on a spreadsheet that my coach had given us called her abundance sheet. And I used that and I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to track my income now. And now I look at it almost every day just because it looks so cool. It's kind of like, oh my God, look at this money coming in over the next month. This makes me so excited. And I used to hate looking at those numbers, but because I've looked at them every day and that was part of my money mindset thing, I was like, just every day, you don't have to do anything with it. Just look at it. Look at it. Think about why you're proud of it. Like reflect on what you're feeling, all of that good stuff. And then, of course, there came a point in the month where I looked at the numbers and I'd already been proud of it. So now I was like, well, how can I make it better? And that's when I also was able to recognize the money mindset piece in there, right? I was able to recognize, oh, wait, like calm down, slow down. You're getting ahead of yourself already. Um, so this is kind of how I managed my money mindset month. There was a lot of looking at numbers. I haven't come up with my money mindset ritual, my like weekly ritual of how I'll like look at my finances, because I'm going to be working on that with the person who's going to be helping with money mapping and all this stuff. So that's really exciting. My money mindset work is not done. That's pretty much what I did for this coming month. So results, right? I'm technically recording this close to the end of March, so I'm actually not done with March, so things could get better. Who knows? But I did kind of want to talk about this already. So I already saw, I told you, I earned about 1100 both January and February. In March, and I did not expect this, by the way. I was expecting around the same amount, technically. I mean, because like I wasn't really seeing much growth. Um, I basically increased it by about 150%. I think I'm now at about 2600, up from 1100. Now, obviously that's still not 5K, but look at that change. Like, that's a huge jump to make. And imagine if you could do that every month. Um, but anyway, I saw that and I was just like, whoa, wait a minute, what? Because I didn't think about it. But at one point, I was looking at my income and I had been looking at the numbers. And next thing I knew, I was like, wait a minute, look at that jump. I didn't see that coming. And I realized too, I'd finally hit that threshold of like, I am now earning more than I'm spending. Um, sure, it's not enough to make up for the taxes I'm going to have to pay, but I'm making strides, right? Um, and now I can see like the future income is also starting to go up as well. And anyway, lots of other things. And I realized throughout the month that what was going on is, first of all, I had opened myself up to those opportunities, new opportunities that came in. People were coming to me out of nowhere. I would be like playing tennis just for fun, just to like let off some steam. And I come back and be like, oh, look, a one-on-one client wants to work with me. Like, or oh, look, this person emailed me to do an update or something like that. Even though I don't technically do some of that, the website work anymore, like this one person reached out to me about like just doing a quick update. And I was like, yeah, sure, I could do that. Why not? I mean, you don't have to say yes to all of them, but I just like, it was my money mindset month. So I was sitting there just like, this is an opportunity to earn a little bit more. Like, why would I turn it down? Would I turn it down? Like, I mean, if unless it was something I absolutely hated doing, but I don't. So why not? um, and so through all of that, I realized that my money mindset has seriously improved. I've also now run a quick, like I did a like money mindset journaling and meditation for my mastermind group because they wanted to work on it too. And I was like, we can work on it together. So we kind of did that, which was a really good little exercise and seeing how other people see money mindset. Anyway, it's been a great journey. I know this went a lot longer than I expected. Sorry, guys. I told you that this might happen. I know how to talk, don't I? But I didn't want to just, I wanted to talk through the story with you. And I wanted to walk you guys through like what I did for money mindset, why I decided to address it, and how I decided to address it, and what the results were, because the results really were proof. The proof is in the pudding, right? The results were proof enough. I got the results I was aiming for, and almost better than I even really expected. Let's be real. I kind of sit in my masculine energy a lot. I don't know if you've heard of this, the masculine versus feminine energy. I have a previous podcast episode about this with Logan. If you haven't listened to it, I would go back and listen to that. It's basically the idea of being like in our masculine energy, we're logical, we're straightforward, where it's not spiritual woo woo, whereas the other side is that kind of spiritual woo woo that's more like flow and like manifestation and all of that. And I get really stuck in my masculine energy side of just do hard work, logic, all of that stuff. And I needed to kind of, and there's a part of me that thinks that even now still kind of looks down on manifestation as kind of like this thing. I'm just like, okay, there has to be a logic behind it, which is why I gave that logical explanation earlier to it. And if you can relate to that, then this exercise would probably be good for you too. We're doing a money mindset month or some mindset month where you focus high key on that mindset, because we do need a balance of that side of things, because what that side of things does is it taps into your unconscious beliefs and it opens your mind more to the things that you could be doing. And it also like addresses those unconscious beliefs that are in fact affecting the energy you put out there, which is either attracting or deterring people. It could affect the way you show up. It could affect the opportunities you don't see or turn down or accept. It could affect a lot of different how you see and perceive certain things. So really tapping into that manifestation flow side of things and working high key on your mindset, while it can seem to some people, it can kind of seem a little unproductive. It's like, well, I need to be doing things so I can earn the money so I can logically like live. Right. But this side of you is actually what's going to help you do that. So if you're high key masculine, you're finding that you're stuck, you got to tap into the other side, because that's what I did. I found I was stuck. Things weren't working. Everyone was telling me my strategy was totally fine. I went to every fucking coach, and every coach was telling me that, basically I was doing things just fine. Um, and I realized very quickly, I'm like, aha, okay, it's a mindset block. And that's probably going to be the case for you if you've been stuck in this before too. So if you really resonated with that, or if you had any thoughts as you were going through, please feel free to share with me in DMs, or in the comments of this YouTube video, or wherever. I am on Instagram as at the authentic Domi, Domi, by the way, in case you didn't know. I post a lot of other things, quick tips and tricks, encouragement, motivation, all that other fun stuff. I do reels on Instagram, so I would love to see you there. And also, I have my YouTube channel. If you're not watching this on YouTube, which if you are, hi, hello, make sure you subscribe and like and comment and all that stuff. And if you aren't watching this on YouTube, I am Domi, the Authenticity Coach. Easy to find, shouldn't be complicated. You can find me there. Um, and also, I did want to put out there that I do have a mastermind and a mini mind. So I'm going to quickly run over those things. My mastermind is called the Baller Mastermind. It is for these dreamer and visionary entrepreneurs who have these huge dreams, but really, really struggle to get past the fear to get there. Maybe you find you aren't showing up consistently. You're stuck in perfectionism. You're stuck learning but not doing, and you're frustrated as to why nothing's happening. This is going to be the program for you, where I'm going to help push you and hold you accountable, while also getting you to listen to your audience, use visioning exercises. I love visioning, and reflect back on what you were doing so that we can continue to improve your strategies and not just, keep doing the same bad thing over and over again. So that's what the Baller Mastermind is all about. I also have a mini mind with my good friend Crystal called Conquer Client Connections. If you know Myers Briggs, or even if you don't, and you would like to tap into your unique quote unquote personality type to learn how you can use it as a tool to grow, to build an authentic business for you, and to understand other people. We have been studying this for many years, and we can help you do that. It really is kind of this magical thing, if you can open your mind enough to understand how a tool like cognitive functions in Myers-Briggs would be helpful to you. So we used this for a couple other entrepreneurs previously, and it really helped them kind of understand themselves and really feel more aligned to their business and to their clients. So if you're interested in either of those programs, please DM me on Instagram, or again, comment below, whatever you want to do. I will see it. And thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I understand that it was longer than I expected because I have a lot to say always. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys again next week. Bye bye.